We are outside Barnhill Arena after we just watched a little bit of red and white basketball tonight. This is David from Hoops Southbound, and I am joined by Caleb from Woo Pig. Caleb, what was your general thoughts of tonight?
Fantastic game, a lot of optimism, a lot of excitement with this team. I think the one thing that stands out to me is you've got to love the outside shooting that we saw tonight from these guys.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, I think Jeremiah Davenport was absolutely on fire. I mean, what combined, I believe him and Joseph Pinion were 8 for 10 at one point, starting this game out early. I mean, they were on fire shooting from three, which is a big cry from what we saw last season.
Very true. This is going to be a way to spread the floor and open up the floor for guys to drive and get the ball into the big men that, we can have the potential to score.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So a couple of things that we were talking about that before the game that we wanted to see tonight. I know the big one for me was I wanted to see Joseph Pinion on defense. We knew that he had a lot of offensive potential. We saw the offensive rating last year, had one of the best three-point shooting percentages on this team last season. And Joseph Pinion tonight, while there wasn't anything that truly stood out to me on defense, like he never got burned or he never put himself in a bad situation, it felt like. So I think that he may be making a larger contribution to the team this year.
Yeah, very true. There's no glaring issues that, were very prominent. The guy that stood out to me, you've got to talk about if you're looking at this red and white game, Jeremiah Davenport. He came out with a hot start, starting out, I believe, 2 of 3 or 3 of 3 from the deep, and then just continued that the whole game. He's a guy to look for potentially a lot of playing time this season, if not starting off the bench.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it definitely, you saw the floor spacing difference and just how hot he can get from three in this game. I can't wait to watch it against live action against another team who's scheming directly for you. But, from what we saw from the three-point shooting, it was great. Let's talk about Leighton Blocker just a little bit. I thought he had a pretty good evening overall. It seems like Muss is kind of intent on running him kind of at the one spot as a point. What was your overall thoughts on Leighton Blocker tonight?
Yeah, very great performance for his first collegiate game, even though it was just a red-white showcase. I think one thing that stands out watching this game is he's got speed. He can beat you, around the edge. You give him just an inch of space, he's going to take it all day and, fly by you to the basket.
Oh, yeah, no, we definitely saw that quickness on display when he made moves. Like there was a loose ball, and then we saw him just get the opportunity to keep moving that ball around and, we saw him sprint to the basket, and like he made that play off his speed on that transition play. I thought it was great. I loved seeing it. We knew this kid had a lot of speed coming in. I would have liked to see a little bit more of the three ball from him as well this evening because that is one of the big question marks, kind of. But like the other side of this that I was talking about on my show was what would we see from Leighton Blocker in comparison to these other guards? How did you think he compared?
Yeah, I think he's right up there with some of these guys. He may be not as experienced as some of these other guys, and there could be some growing pains. That happens with incoming freshmen. But I think he has a chance to play a lot of minutes for this team this year.
Absolutely. Okay, so one of the things that you had talked to me earlier today was that you wanted to see what we would get contribution-wise from Bayfall. What were your thoughts on Bayfall?
Yeah, not a just stellar performance. I think a very, decent performance for a guy that's coming in, a true freshman. He's got length, he's got size, and he has the potential to, put up some offense. But I think he's going to have more of a learning curve than some of these other guys will have. But, if Muss can develop him like we know he can develop guys, I think by the end of the season, he could see a decent contribution to this team.
Absolutely. I was looking at the rotation. It's obvious to me that Jalen Graham or Mekhi Mitchell is going to be the starter. And then it's kind of Bayfall in that number 3 spot. He was very quiet tonight, and we could definitely see some of that rawness. But, I mean, there's a ton of potential there. And you can tell if he puts a little weight on or something going forward, he's going to be a great number 5 option for the Razorbacks at some point down the road. I think he's going to be a great center for this team. What were some of your other thoughts that you had this evening?
Yeah, you just mentioned it with Graham and Mitchell, looking at those top 2 guys in that 4-5 spot. I think when you talk about those 2 guys, it's going to be situational with how much playing time those guys get. You've got Graham that's got a great offensive game, improved on defense, but still might not be as good as what Mekhi does, and can come in and just get you some stops and rebounds, and can contribute maybe 2 or 3 points here and there.
Okay, let's talk about the fourth quarter, because when we got to the fourth quarter, it kind of started out, and I turned to you and I go, yeah, this kind of feels like the Devo Davis fourth quarter. What did you think of Devo in the fourth quarter? I thought he had excellent ball movement and assists all night, but it really felt like he took it to a different level there for a few minutes in the fourth.
Yeah, that's very true. Very typical Devo. End of the game, clutch situations. He's always seems to be there no matter what the situation is. Like you said, great ball movement, great pacing, spacing on the floor. He hit a few threes in this game. I think this team all around has improved, especially from outside. And Devo's one of those guys who turned it on middle of the season last year. And I think we're just going to see a continuation of that this season.
All right, let's talk about any final thoughts we had on this red or white game. Tonight, I saw a lot of speed, a lot of ball movement for a team that's, being put together transfer-wise. And then overall, I saw, a lot of three-point shooting tonight, which was crazy given where this team was last year.
Yeah, I agree. The three-point shooting, I think, is the main takeaway from this game and how improved it is. And that's just going to allow us to space the floor more. But I think this team this year is going to have a great combination of talent and experience between talented younger teammates as well as those guys that came in that have experience, within, you look at Tremont Mark, had a quiet game tonight, not the biggest, but he's got that experience with Houston going to the tournament, making it all the way to the Final Four. So I think you're going to see a great mix in this team this year.
Again, guys, thank you so much for checking out the video tonight. We had a blast here at the Red and White game tonight. Make sure you go follow Caleb at Whoopig Weekly at his YouTube channel. And then we'd love for you guys to give us a like or subscribe at Hoops Southbound. Of course, this video will be coming out on both our different YouTube channels, so we can't wait for that to come out. It's going to be a blast. Yeah, Caleb?
Yeah, just what David said. Tune in, subscribe. I'll personally have a lot of more Razorback content for you. David's going to put out a ton of SEC content, which, with a big year from the Razorbacks, should include them very heavily. You'll see David a lot of times coming on, Whoopig Weekly to talk Arkansas ball around the SEC. So it's going to be a lot of fantastic content coming out from both of us under the Variety Sports Network. So, go check them out. Go check our pages out and get ready for this big basketball season.
Yep, check you guys next time.